And yes, Iran is not stopping there, because Tehran has also launched a major crackdown involving another piece of technology, one that is linked to Elon Musk, Starlink. And this time Iran says it has seized almost 1,000 devices. A satellite internet terminal that can look harmless, a small piece of equipment, a connection to the internet, a way to communicate. But in a conflict zone, just imagine, technology can quickly become a security issue. Well, Iran says that it has seized 997 Starlink devices and related equipments and arrested 163 people in a major crackdown. Iranian authorities say that they are concerned that the equipment could potentially be used for intelligence, surveillance, or other hostile activities. While the equipment reportedly entered Iran through western and northwestern route, including via Azerbaijan and Iraq's Kurdistan region. Authorities also seized vehicles they said were being used to transport the entire equipment. But you know what? Here's the crucial point here. There is no independent evidence in supplied report that proves that the seized Starlink devices were being used for espionage. And you know, that distinction, that matters, because Starlink itself is a communication technology. But in a country experiencing conflict and intense restriction on information, an independent satellite internet connection that can have strategic implications. Well, it can bypass traditional telecommunication network. It can allow communication even when the infrastructure that is disputed, and that makes it politically sensitive. Technology companies have increasingly found themselves pulled into geopolitical conflicts here. Basically, a satellite company may suddenly become part of a war here. A social media platform that can become part of an election. And ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest here, a messaging app that can become part of a protest moment. And a simple internet terminal that can become part of a national security investigation. But again, it can be. But is it? That's a big question. Ladies and gentlemen, in geopolitics, this is the new reality. Welcome to the world of war. Technology is no longer separate from geopolitics. Technology is geopolitics. What if your enemy can see you, but you cannot see them? That is specifically the claim coming from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, an IRGC spokesperson said that Iran is using secret surveillance and tracking method to target military positions and ships across the Persian Gulf. In the meantime, the claim is even more dramatic. Here, Iran says that the system does not depend on satellites that the United States recognizes, and that American forces have been unable to identify how the tracking is being done right now. Well, the spokesman also claimed that the radar and surveillance network, it had been destroyed, leaving the enemy forces effectively blind. Now, we need to separate claims from facts here. This is an claim made by the United States military officials. There are no report that independently verifies all these claims, but the strategic idea, that is important. Modern warfare depends heavily on information. Who can see, who can track, who can communicate, who can identify a target, and who can hide? Well, the side that answers those questions better, that particular side can gain a major advantage here. Satellites have transformed modern warfare. Drones have transformed surveillance. Electronic warfare can disrupt the entire communication, and artificial intelligence that can process a lot of information. So, if Iran really has developed a method that can hide its tracking system from the US surveillance, that would be a strategically significant move. But again, we should not confuse a military claim with independent confirmed capability. This is exactly why information warfare, that is complicated. Countries deliberately hide their capabilities. They exaggerate others. They release selective information. They want the opponent just to wonder, what do they actually have and what do they don't? That uncertainty itself, it can be very useful